Hi, I'm Dennis Weiss for Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town. We have a brand new guy in our town that we're introducing today, Michael Player. Michael's the new director over at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We call it the CVB around here.
Exactly.
Welcome to Abilene.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. We chose to come here. We wanted to come here. I owned an advertising agency for right at 28 years, and at our 25th anniversary, I decided that I wanted to shift gears and sell it, and that's what I was able to do in 2015. And then Glenda Perkis retired. She was quite the legacy to follow, and yes. But I'm fortunate enough to sit in the chair today. So.
Well, I have noticed since you have been in town that there's a lot of tracks behind you. In other words, you're moving pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm used to that, though. Yes, I am. I'm a conductor, and so I'm used to 15 clients at a time, and I kind of look at Abilene as one client with all the different venues as being, the 15. So
that's an interesting comment. You know, we're sitting at a spot that is one of the crown jewels of the Midwest. Nobody else has this, and we're at the Greyhound Museum here in Abilene. Fantastic place.
Beautiful.
Straight across from the Eisenhower Presidential Library, and just now a block and a half from Great Plains Theater. And what else can you say about Abilene? We only have 22 minutes left.
Well, let's start here. This is a multi-million-dollar museum that is sitting directly across the street from the Eisenhower Presidential Library, Museum, and Boyhood Home.
Right.
Now, there's not too many other towns that can say they have these type of venues.
This many.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. And catty corner from us is Old Abilene Town,
right.
And the Abilene and Smoky Valley Railroad,
right.
And the excursions that they put together. I'm new to town, right? And I can't wait to get on their steam engine for the first time.
I was on it the first time it rolled out. We were invited to come over and kind of run the camera, so we came over and got some footage of that. What an awe-inspiring, earth-shaking, literally event.
I can't wait. My family's coming out from Kansas City to ride it with us, and so, but it's 100 yards from where we're sitting right now.
Right, exactly.
And so they're all within walking distance of one block.
So Convention and Visitors Bureau, you're the Glenda used to say heads in beds, heads in beds. You wanted people to come to Abilene. That's what CVB is all about. But as you step back and look at that, it's more than just heads in beds. It's feet on the sidewalk, feet walking through this door, feet walking through that door, people on that train, people watching the play at Great Plains, all the other things which set just yards from downtown business district. Really, so you and James Holland at the Chamber of Commerce sit in the same building. That's probably done for a reason.
That's great leverage. My job is to navigate folks to Abilene. And that's greater than 50 miles away. Obviously, we need to be drawing people, all types of patrons to our town, not just tourists. And so we need to be attracting those businesses that want to come here to run their conventions. And James is in the same office. In fact, when I moved here, Rhonda, my wife and I, we leased our house from James. And now that I'm in the Convention and Visitors Bureau building, which is the Union Pacific Railroad, the Chamber of Commerce is leasing from me. So I'm leasing from him, and he's leasing from me. But James Holland has been my biggest asset. He really has. Just being able to tie in with the Chamber of Commerce is such a leverage that the monies go further, the message goes further. It's the right thing to do. And a lot of towns don't have that, and this one does.
Anybody that's met you since you've been here, I think if they start to stick a label on your forehead, it should be the first label they stick on your forehead should say excitement. You're excited about being here.
I am, but motivated people do better. And so, I see it as as part of my role to bring that motivation level up. And so that people that live here, reside in the area, work here, that they too can take it with them. That's called a mutuality of benefits. And when a mutual benefit is shared, then more people will talk about it. And so a delighted patron, a delighted person will share something, whereas if they're just happy or satisfied, they might not. And so that's really the secret to how I see it, to marketing. is to make sure that that message walks away, that they're able to share it with somebody else.
We're sitting in front of a booth that you have been given charge of to help you bring the story of Abilene to the people who visit here. And right behind me is a guy on a white horse, and that my eyes go to the horse because I'm a horse guy. Okay, so then I think about you and your job, which is selling Abilene. You have a great horse to sell. Yeah, this isn't a three-legged horse that can barely walk. This is a horse that can run on the fast track. This is a great community with assets that are unbelievable. Nobody else has a National Greyhound Association in their district, and nobody else has this museum, that train. The things that we have put in a group are a great product to take to market.
Well, there's so many things to talk about. Where do you start? This last weekend, we had the Eisenhower Marathon. It's something that's been a success for 14 years.
Right.
And so we came around it, and we titled something called the 5-Star Festival to support staying in Abilene, spending the night in Abilene. And so we had a kite festival, we had 3 concerts.
Right.
The Great Plains Theater brought in a Neil Diamond tribute from Branson. It was a total sellout,
Right.
as you know.
Sellout
And,
plus some.
we had American Idol contestant that was over in Old Abilene town, Jessica Page.
Right.
And we had Santiago Blues Brothers Band that was also played with them. And they set records over there for that day. The Alamo Saloon set a record for that day. The Kite Festival is the first time that they had something like that.
And I looked at some of the results of that and what people had to say about these events, and I see engagement. When I looked at that, and I came and I attended some of those things, but I saw engagement. You know, putting a head in a bed could be as simple as somebody going down I-70 and pulling over and sleeping and leaving. This engagement is a bigger task. It's another level of getting people to recognize who Abilene is and what we have to offer.
And to take it further. It started back at St. Patrick's Day when I took our trolley to Kansas City.
Great idea, by the
And we
way.
had the Gunfighters, which are celebrating their 50th year in this town. 1966, the Gunfighters Association started here in this town, the Old Abilene Town Gunfighters. And so they followed us to Kansas City. They carried banners. It made national news. It was it was televised, and people in Kansas City now know more. In fact, we were able to get a tour bus company to agree to come out here that had never been out here before when we were
That's
there.
terrific, yeah.
So, but you know, getting the message out far and wide and continuing that thing is something that we all have to do. It's not just from my department, but as part of the city is behind what we're doing. They want these events, and the good Lord's been gracious to us to give us nothing but sweet blue skies and,
That's right.
and good
That's
good
right.
weather.
And
So
wonderful weather for
Right.
that event. You're causing some people some work, though. All right, can you live with that?
I love that.
Okay, because here's what happened to me, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. So I came to the event, and we went to the Heritage Center. You know, we rode the trolley around town. Michael Hook gave a great tour.
Michael Hook is
I learned some things I didn't know.
fantastic at it.
And then we stopped at the Heritage Center and went out back, and the Gunfighters had an event planned for us. So, and then later that evening at the Neil Diamond Tribute at Great Plains Theater, the judge at the Gunfighters, the judge, was there to attend the event, and he looked at me and he said, "Why don't you do a story on the Abilene Gunfighters? You put everybody else on TV, how about us?" And I said, "If you give me a gun, you're on." And so we're going to get a chance to do that. And I want to tell the guy, to the judge watching the program, because he says he watches all the time, and I want to tell you that that is the power of engagement.
Right.
If I had not been there, he could have not seen me. And then when he saw me the next time, he acted on it, making good things happen.
Well, you know, one of the best moves that I've been fortunate to have to do is hire an event coordinator. And you mentioned Michael Hook, and he used to be the curator at the Seeley Mansion. He's an Abilene historian. He knows about what the gunfights happened in this town, and so he's now our event coordinator.
Yeah.
And with him on board, we're going to take our heritage story to a different level. We're going to make sure that people in Europe and Japan know about this. And with the Chisholm Trail celebrating its 150th celebration next year, we've got a big dress rehearsal, if you will, this year. It's called Trails, Rails, and Tales, and it's going to be Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through 3rd, 4th. And so we're actually going to be moving cattle through town twice a day.
Oh, that's
and
going
that's
to be fun.
Longhorn cattle going to go through this town. But to get prepared, we're going to start telling the story and all the stories, the rich stories of like the cowboy boot was invented in this town. Most people don't know that.
Right.
And so it's up to us to tell those stories. And Michael Hook can tell that story better than anybody. And
Some of our neighbors to the east and to the south like to claim the cowboy boot, but the facts of history say Abilene is where the cowboy boot was invented
there's
and put,
proof of it.
put on the market.
Right. There's an ad that was developed ahead of the one that was in Olathe.
Right.
And so that shows that the pointed toe boot was invented here.
You know, I told my wife this, so I'm going to tell you on camera. We need to recruit a bootmaker as a business to Abilene, Kansas. So if you know somebody out there that would like to be a bootmaker, is a bootmaker, maybe where they live today, it's not going so well for them. My goodness, send them to talk to Michael Player at the CVB, or you can find me pretty easy. What a great opportunity that would be to recreate that for history, but for me, it's another business in downtown Abilene.
Absolutely. And as a heritage-based town, we have that rich history that companies like boot companies, or even, we're a cow town, right?
Sure.
We could use a steakhouse, we could use a barbecue restaurant, we could use some things like that go with that heritage.
Sure.
However, we're also Ike,
That's
the town
right.
is also about Eisenhower, and so, and I see that. And so we're starting to do some branding with the 5-star, with the General's 5-star.
Which is a tremendous idea.
Right.
Carl Weisenbach put that gift in this community, that leadership. And, Dwight David Eisenhower, the man who gave the world a second chance at freedom. Nobody has that but us. And what an opportunity of branding, of goodwill. You mentioned Japan and other places about the cowboy thing. Nobody brings more people from a long ways away than does Eisenhower Research Library.
They bring in almost 200,000 people a year. And
800 researchers, I think, last year were
865.
865 were there, and they don't walk in for a moment. They spend days and weeks here. Researching, and a couple years ago there were 28 new books written about Eisenhower. I don't know what the number was last year, but I remember that one. It's a few years ago now. That's amazing, and we have all of that to draw to in our community.
Our country has some great presidential libraries, but with the Chisholm Trail coming out of Texas, there's quite a few libraries. The Johnson, the new Bush, the other Bush is down there as well. And then you come up to Kansas City, and there's the Truman Library, and then you come 150 miles west, and here's the Eisenhower. And so you're following the trail, the Chisholm Trail up. And we've had people in our visitor center that have made that trek, that have followed those libraries and are following the Chisholm Trail all the way up.
I was listening to a national talk show this morning just briefly on my way to town, and they were playing a speech from President Eisenhower and talking about the economy and the budget and things. And from two phases, I guess. From history, Eisenhower is still one of the most relevant presidents we've ever had. The time and the geography he dealt with is still very much pertinent today. But as a CVB, this is a place where 180,000 or so people come and briefly visit our community. Our task as a community is to turn briefly into not so briefly.
Well, I like Ike, right? And he's the 8th most popular president, moving on number 7. But they also love Mamie, his wife. Sure. And this is their 100th anniversary. Right. This year is their 100th
Did you bring one of your new flyers with you?
Well, we've got a new visitor guide that's out.
Yeah.
And so, and we've put them on the cover. We put their marriage.
We'll get that picture to Dave.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the best photos of the Eisenhower family ever.
And we're selling romance, right?
Oh, it's just a tremendous photo.
Yeah. Ronnie and Nancy also has celebrated 52 years of marriage, and so we have Ike and Mamie, and so in their 52-year marriage, and what a great story. See, that's part of America. Americana. That's what, as an outsider moving here, now that I'm an insider, right?
Right.
But I see Abilene as a step back in Americana. I see it as a Norman Rockwell painting. It's set with that type of atmosphere. The morals are fantastic here. There's 22 churches in this town. The fabric of that faith-based community shows our crime rate's one of the lowest ones in the state of Kansas. And so, those things we also need to tell the rest of the world. This is the place to come.
The thing I appreciate about you, Michael, that I've gotten to know so far, I'm a pretty transparent guy, to my benefit or credit or discredit, whichever way other people see it, but it's just the way it is. So you're not shy about telling people here what a great town we are, because this is the first audience that needs to understand what a tremendous asset we have and what can be done with it if we pull on the rope the same way.
And we need to encourage people to come to these leveraged events, these special events that are coming up. This just is a chance for me to talk about a chili cook-off that we got coming into town. On April 23rd, we're doing the first wild steer chili cook-off, and it's a sanctioned chili cook-off by an organization called Cassie. And so we expect people to come far and wide to be here in Abilene. On that same day, we've got a vintage market that's going to be over at the fairgrounds. So the chili cook-off is at the old Abilene town. The vintage market that's going on that day, and we've already had interest up to 2,000 people about this vintage market. So, it's called Ritz and Roost Vintage Market and Camp Fair. And so, they've got a great interest in what's going to happen there. And that's going to dovetail into some other things that I've got planned. One of them is called the Antique Fest. And what we saw in our antiques shops that are in town is that we have 9 shops that are air conditioned. And antiquers are people that travel a circuit. And so beginning of the last week of May, from a Tuesday through a Sunday, we're going to introduce something brand new to the antique community. It's called a Abilene 5-Star Antique Fest. And it's going to run for a week in the last week in May. It's going to come back and skip a month and run another week in July, Tuesday through Sunday. And then it's going to, in fact, it's the same time that the Great Plains Theater is running the Lost in Yonkers, so during the same time. Again, leverage. And then we're going to skip a month and come back in September, the last week of September, and it's going to be called the 5-Star Antique Fest, Abilene's 5-Star Antique Fest.
Getting people together is what leverage means. If we're going to have one event, why not have 3 that support it? So people stay longer, do more, make it into a weekend. One of the events that's been going on in our community for a long time we want to talk about is an event driven by where we are today. I think on the 25th of April, dogs are on the track. Out west of Abilene, and the public is welcome to attend and watch. And that is a national event. That's not a local event, that's a national event. The best of the best of the best will be in Abilene, Kansas on the track.
The National Greyhound Association is headquartered here in Abilene, and they do 2 meets a year. They do a spring meet and a fall meet. And this one coming up, the public is welcome to come out. Their dogs will be running on, I have the schedule here.
I think it's the 25th.
Right. It starts on a Monday and a Tuesday, and they can come out at 9 o'clock to the track, and it's a free event. They can come out and watch the dogs run.
For years we have filmed that, and we've done our best to film it and put it on our local access channel, and it's for the purpose of reminding people that event is here. And anybody that does live events know you only get a certain amount of people who will walk out, sit at the event, or walk to the event, attend the event. And we always try to grow that, but there's another set of people who still want to see it. They may be homebound, they may be in a facility, they may just not have to work that day, but the fact of the matter is you can go watch it live, and we will do our best at Eagle to make sure the people that want to see it in other places can see it on TV and or on the internet, because this is a economic driver for Dickinson County and for Abilene. Deserves our support.
And I recommend that after they see the dogs race, that they come over to the Hall of Fame. We have 2 dogs that greet you at the door here. Gary and Ginger, and they're just beautiful, beautiful dogs. And as you enter the hall, they welcome you, and you can pet them. And so the hall is just a magnificent place to see the rich history of greyhound racing.
You know, I warned you before the camera came on, this 22 minutes is going to go like that. Well, we're a minute and a half left. Isn't that amazing? There's so much to say about this community, and I want to tell you on camera and the people who are listening to me, Michael Player has been good for Abilene. Your enthusiasm about our community is a tremendous shot in the arm for the rest of us who share it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you being willing to be out in the front lines and to talk about Abilene and to push all of us together into engagement, into, you call them leverage events, but it's really just community doing things that are right. I see you brought up the planes, trains, and automobiles, so I get to pitch this in our last few because I know where this came from, by golly. We went to lunch at Joe Snuffy's, and I said, have you been to the little custom car shop across the street? And you said no. So I walked you in there and introduced you, and by the time you walked out of there, you had planes, trains, and automobiles figured out and ready to go.
Yeah, we do a fly-in on that May 7th, and so the trains are running, and Dustin's bringing his classic cars. And
what
so,
a wonderful thing.
Abilene is ready for you. You know, it's where the trail never ends. And so
all right,
that's our slogan.
We can't end any better than that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming today, Michael Player.
Thank you.
For Eagle Communications, I'm Dennis Weiss. We know you'll have a great day in our town.